Please introduce yourself.
So my name is Muneeb Afzal. I hail from a village Krendigam in Bijbihar area of district Anantnag. I have just completed a master's in political science from University of Kashmir. This is my second interview in this examination and my second attempt as well. My primary interests lie in political theory, social justice, and in other social issues. I also write on these issues in newspapers that are being published from Srinagar on daily basis.
Okay, so you have a lot of interest in politics, huh?
Yes, sir, I have interest in politics. Nice.
Okay, so what is the difference between Indian nationalism and European nationalism?
So there are often some similarities as well as differences between the Indian nationalism and the kind of nationalism that has evolved over a period of time in Europe. First one is that Indian nationalism arose in response to the colonialism. What is being described by Partha Chatterjee as derivative nationalism. Indian nationalism has developed in a society which is not homogeneous. There is diversity in it. European nationalism is superscript a particular context where the European societies are homogeneous. Indian nationalism is very inclusive in a diverse environment. There are so many diversities in India, but Indian nationalism is so much comprehensive. It is inclusive. It is about everything. It believes that we are one, but it acknowledges that we differ in many other aspects and it respects these differences.
And what about European nationalism?
So European nationalism is more about homogeneity. It has evolved it developed in 15th, 16th century, but it developed in societies which were more or less homogeneous in terms of religion, in terms of race, and in terms of other cultural aspects. I believe so, sir.
Is nationalism at all relevant in this world?
Sir, there are various debates related to this. For example, if I will talk about Rabindranath Tagore, he believes that nationalism is like a wine. He thinks that it is undesirable in certain way. He believes in cosmopolitanism. And there are other thinkers as well, Swami Vivekananda, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who are cosmopolitan in nature, who believe that, like Immanuel Kant also, the thinkers who believe that nationalism is not such a good thing. But at the same time, I believe that there is some synergy between nationalism and cosmopolitanism, in the sense that we can have affection towards a particular nation, but not at the cost of hatred towards other nations.
You said you have interest in political theory.
Yes, sir.
So, have you heard of Veil of Ignorance?
Yes, sir.
What is it, this Veil of Ignorance?
So, Veil of Ignorance is actually a concept in John Rawls' concept of justice. He believes that if we have to derive principles that should govern the basic structure of our society, then those who derive these principles and shall be put in a veil of ignorance, in that they should not know that what is their social context, where the veil is thrown out after they have made these principles. The veil of ignorance is essential to ensure that the principles that are being chosen there do not affect their conditions. In terms of it is intended
how
and
relevant and how applicable is this concept of John Rawls in current times and contemporary times?
So I believe that it is debatable, because in terms of, for example, there might be some who will say that John Rawls is he has actually revived the social contractian theory, but it is not realistic in that sense. For example, John Rawls, there is a commentary and critique to John Rawls. He believes that individual is somewhat isolated from the community. Commentarians think that individual is situated in some.
Then how my question is, how relevant or applicable is this John Rawls concept of veil of ignorance in current times? Will it be able to curb corruption? This concept, will it prevent nepotism and favoritism?
So there are issues, there are merits as well. I will believe so. For example, if John Rawls, his concept of justice is essentially to ensure that there must be fairness. It is about fairness. But I believe that there are other things which he has not actually taken into consideration while deriving the principles of justice. For example, Margaret Thatcher, who was the Prime Minister of the Britain, he said that we are actually this inequality. He actually invoked John Rawls when he said that we are taxing the people, but this taxing the people, the kind of the least disadvantaged position, the least disadvantaged groups that are in our society, they do not get benefit if those who are well off are being taxed. Though even if we apply the John Rawls concept of justice, I believe that inequality still will remain. My sense is so, sir.
Okay. So tell me about Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative.
So Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative is about that. He says that it is about moral law. It says that if you want to do something, do it in such a way that it must become a moral law in terms of universal law. For example, if you want to do some, if you he talks about truth. If you want to speak truth, truth is in itself a good thing.
Okay.
It can be defined in terms of in contrast to the consequentialist reasoning. By the, for example, the thinkers like Jeremy Bentham says that the morality of a particular act lies in its consequences. But the categorical imperative state is that something is inherently right and something is inherently wrong. If something is inherently wrong, even if it brings some benefit to the society, it should not be done.
Okay. So, which newspaper do you follow?
Newspaper, sir. So I often follow the Hindu and Indian Express, sir.
So, you regularly read the newspaper?
I do not write in the Hindu news. So I write in local.
You read the newspaper
Yes,
regularly?
I do read, sir.
So what were the major headlines yesterday?
So yesterday, the particular headline was about the election that was conducted in Jammu and Kashmir, Haryana, sir. The notifications have just come.
So, when is the model code of conduct come into effect?
So it comes into effect immediately after the notification is being issued, immediately after the announcement of the election is made by the.
Does it have a legal binding, legal backing?
So it does not have a legal balance.
So it's only moral.
Yes, it is moral code of conduct. I think that it has no any moral. It is not there in the particular statute of parliament or any.
Is it mentioned in the constitution?
No, sir, it is not mentioned in the constitutions.
What is how you describe the political system of America?
Political system of
America.
America.
Vis-a-vis elections.
So I believe that American political system is about there is presidential form of government in America, and the elections for the president are indirect, and whereas the elections for the Lok Sabha in our countries it is direct. American political system is, I believe that it has attained some level of stability because it has evolved over a period of 2 centuries, sir. There are certain issues in the American political system as well, because in the present times I believe that there is some depolarization that is happening in America. There was one time when Lord Bryce said that ideological differences are over now in America. Even thinkers like S.M. Lipset, he says that we do not need any political theory now in America because the dream of good society has already been achieved in America. But I believe that this is not so. There are issues that need to be tackled in American political system even right now, sir.
So, do you think like our country, which is facing a big problem of income gaps? So there are rich people who are very rich and poor who are getting very poor. And many experts are saying that this can create a social distress and maybe a civil war. So what do you think about it?
So I'm particularly fascinated by this issue, by the issue of inequality. Whether it is, but I take inequality in very comprehensive manner, not just in terms of income inequality. There are inequalities in social status. There are gender inequalities, and I strongly believe that inclusiveness is very much important for social cohesion and for social stability. As you rightly mentioned, that it can create social tensions. I strongly believe that. I can mention Aristotle in here. He believes that inequality is one of the reasons for the revolution that takes place in societies. I believe that Indian democracy has grown. There are significant things that we should cherish in the Indian democratic system. But I believe that this is the particular aspect where we must emphasize certain things, because the reports by Oxfam, there are other reports that suggested that rich are growing richer, and that the benefits of the growth are not being penetrated to the level strata of the society. The poor cannot even afford the minimum basic needs that are being constitutionally guaranteed to them. I believe that this issue needs significant redressal in order to ensure that the democracy functions in a very robust manner and it benefits every section of the society.
So do you think that we are going towards some kind of revolution or social distress?
So I do not believe that, because I believe that the Constitution of India is a great hope for the Indian democracy. I believe that the people of India have that capacity to ensure that the justice prevails in our society. There is inequality in the society, but I still believe that there are room without revolution, without changing the entire structure of the society. I believe that Constitution provides a certain room and a certain space where these changes can be tackled constitutionally and in a very peaceful manner.
Recently, people in power have also been talking about a term which was not used early. It's about deep state. What do you think about the deep state?
So deep state means that very small number of persons, who actually enjoy the power. who actually enjoy the power, while the power is very concentrated in certain sections of the society, in certain power corridors of
So
political
do you think
institution.
deep state is working in India?
I think so. Personally, I think so. There is increasing concentration of power in Indian political system, and I believe that it is not good. There have been in recent elections, there have been talk about, even for example, Rahul Gandhi in recent parliament space state that there are he mentioned 3 or 4 people that are running the country. I believe that as the democracy lies in sharing of power, not in the concentration of power.
How do you handle failure?
Failure.
If you face a failure, how would you handle it?
I believe that failure is part of one's life.
What do you call failure, basically?
I believe that failure is not a thing which can be defined in a particular manner. For example, if I am appearing in the examination, I believe that it is in itself a good success. It is in itself a good thing that I must cherish. Even if I do not make it to the finalist, I will still be very much happy that I have actually cracked these 2 examinations and I could not make it. I just believe there is nothing like a failure in our life. Even if we do not attain these things that we want to attain, I believe I recall Mahatma Gandhi. He said that success lies in process. I believe in the process, not in the result.
Okay, that's great. So, for example, if you do not succeed, God forbid this time, what do you have any plan B?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that you should have plan B, or
I strongly believe that I should have plan B, and I have already. I will still push up for this. I have many attempts that are still left. I will still push that. I will ensure that I will make up I will make up to this examination. But I have other plans also. I have already qualified GRF in political science as well as NET. I have other options as well in my life, but I will strongly ensure that because this is my cherished dream, I get through this examination.
I feel that you're young, you're energetic. Sometimes this energy becomes a bane for us rather than a boost, because we cannot contain it.
Yes.
Do you think so? Is it true for you?
Ma'am, I believe energy is important as well, but it has to be directed in a very right direction. If it goes into a wrong direction, it can be a vice. It cannot be that virtue as well. It actually depends upon where you nourish it, where you invest your energy, whether you are investing your energy in some productive things or whether you are investing your energy in certain things which do not bring you any substantial benefit to yourself. I mean, that should be channeled in a very proper manner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
यूनुस साहब आपको बताएंगे कि किस तरह एंटर होना है.
Yes, sir.
आपने बिल्कुल अच्छे से कॉन्फिडेंटली आर्म्स नीचे रिलैक्स करके
Yes, sir.
हेड अप
Yes, sir.
विद अ स्माइल ऑन योर फेस
Yes, sir.
यहाँ आ जाओगे, ग्रीट करोगे,
Yes, sir.
देन सीक योर परमिशन बिफोर सिटिंग.
Yes, sir.
मे आई.
Yes.
तो या तो वो वही से बोलेंगे या पूछना है खुद.
Yes.
चुप करके नहीं बैठना है जब तक, या तो वो नहीं बोलेंगे या परमिशन नहीं
Yes,
लोगे.
sir.
और थोड़ा अपना पोस्चर ठीक करना है, एक ही से अपराइट. हाँ, ऐसे. हाँ, बाकी इन टर्म्स ऑफ communication skills, in terms of knowledge, in terms of your confidence, your presentation, your presence of mind,
Yes,
I don't think, मुझे personally कोई issue नहीं दिखा. You are absolutely ready for the interview if it's tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
तो that's all I can say. और कुछ और भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट, स्टेट, करंट अफेयर.
हर करंट अफेयर्स पर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नज़र रखनी चाहिए. अपनी स्टेट के बारे में, अपने डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बारे में, अपने कंट्री के बारे में, सोशो इकोनॉमिक इश्यूज़ क्या है, चैलेंजेस क्या है, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स क्या है, उस पर भी आपको नज़र रखनी पड़ेगी.
जैसे मैंने डीप स्टेट की जब बात की थी, डीप स्टेट जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है वो एक इंटरनेशनल कॉन्सेप्ट है. आपने उसको कंट्री स्पेसिफिक कर दिया, दैट कंट्री इज बीइंग रन बाय मतलब फ्यू पीपल, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट. डीप स्टेट मीन्स इंटरनेशनली कुछ लोग हैं जो अलग अलग कंट्रीज को.
और मुनीब साहब, being a student of PSIR, when sir asked you about deep state, we expect a very technical answer from you.
Yes, sir.
This is a technical question, and you are a student of PSIR
Yes, sir.
with masters and with excellent academic record.
Yes, sir.
I can see that.
Yes.
तो give a
तो
technical
आपका जो वो
answer.
डीप स्टेट का जो आंसर था ना, वो मतलब बिल्कुल परफेक्ट नहीं कहूँगा, बिकॉज आपने उसको राहुल गांधी के पर्सपेक्टिव से डीप स्टेट समझा दिया रादर देन डीप स्टेट को एक्चुअल में समझने के लिए. ठीक है. अब आप देखिए, जॉर्ज सोरोस को हिस्सा माना जाता है डीप स्टेट का, या देयर आर मेनी अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आल्सो. आपने उसके ऊपर अभी काम मेरे ख्याल से थोड़ा
Yes, sir.
करना है कि जो उसके जो पर्सपेक्टिव है ना डिफरेंट चीज़ों
Yes, sir.
के. अदरवाइज आपकी नॉलेज अच्छी है और थॉट प्रोसेस भी अच्छा है और आपकी बातों से लग भी रहा है कि आप मतलब डीप पढ़ाई में गए हैं, आप सुपरफिशियल नहीं हैं।
थैंक यू सर।
बट थोड़ी और चीज़ों पे, क्योंकि यू नेवर नो कि सामने कौन सा एक्सपर्ट बैठा हो और वो किस सवाल के ऊपर आ जाए।
यस सर, मैं पूछ
तो ओवरऑल जैसे पर्सनालिटी पे भी थोड़ा ना काम करना, बॉडी लैंग्वेज पे,
यस सर।
इवन की कपड़े भी चूज जब करेंगे ना तो थोड़े से भी ये लूज हैं आपके।
यस सर।
ठीक है, सो इंटरव्यू में जाए तो थोड़ा सा ना मतलब पहन के दो चार देख के
डैपर एंड स्प्रूफ जिसे बोलते हैं, बिल्कुल फिट अच्छे से
होना चाहिए। भी आपके कपड़े ना मतलब इट इज नॉट मैचिंग विद योर पर्सनालिटी,
यस सर।
और इनफैक्ट वो पहली नजर अच्छी नहीं दे रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो कपड़े भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हिस्सा है जो आपको अपने आप में कॉन्फिडेंस खुद देंगे। ठीक है, ये जो मतलब एक दो चीज़ें हैं जो अगर आप जिन पे काम करेंगे, आई फील कि आप और बेटर हो जाएंगे।
गुड लक।
गुड लक।